Is there a possibility that some of these very conservative people, as you mentioned, yourself included, present company included, are perhaps have been so stymied by the pushback over Ferguson? Is it possible that there are conservatives like Pete Wehner and Charles Krauthammer and Bill O'Reilly and others who are saying, you know what, there's been such a racial divide in this country over Ferguson and protests in the street. How about we just throw the other side a bone and we'll sort of feign disappointment with the grand jury decision to just show that we're just trying to spread around the love a little bit here. In other words, is this perhaps how would you respond to the accusation that perhaps there's a little bit of a contrived reaction on the part of some on this issue?
I'd say several things. That's the kind of questioning of motives I don't think is helpful. It's the same kind of thing I could do with you, which is maybe Mike Gallagher comes to his views because he's got an audience of right-wingers that he has to play to, and he really knows that this is a different situation. But he's talking this way for ratings. I don't think that's true. I think these are your honest opinions. But it's the kind of thing that doesn't help public debate.
Well, and there are people who are going to make that accusation.
You posed a question, so let me answer it. So that's the first thing, which is we can do the same thing with you. It's not helpful. Secondly, I can't speak for other people's motivations. I can speak for mine. I was very outspoken and wrote several very tough pieces on the Ferguson situation, both the media coverage of it and in defense of Officer Wilson. So the argument here is that people are trying to play to the press or so forth. That's silly. This was, in my view, in my case, a very genuine response that I had. I'm quite sure, and let me continue, I'm quite sure that's the case with people I know like Charles Krauthammer, who's one of the most admirable and intellectually honest people I know.
And you are too. I mean, this is an intellectual disagreement we have, but I agree with Bob McManus, who in the New York Post, who writes, Eric, these cases are very similar. Quite frankly, you have two men, both who broke the law, both who tragically, stupidly, fatally, inexplicably each fought the law. The law won, of course, as it almost always does. These guys, Pete Wehner, were victims of themselves